Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. The world is in a state, particularly the violence meted out on black and brown bodies from those tasked to serve and protect. My heart goes out to the victims of these hate crimes because that's what it is. It's hate crimes. While the US and all over the world are mourning and demonstrating against police brutality and racism, and I have to mention how sad I am that George Floyd had to be killed in such a brutal manner. I'm not even sure if his death will bring about much needed structural and systemic change because I heard that on the 1st of June, in the midst of these protests, David McAtee, a restaurant owner, was shot and killed by police. Those same police who often used to eat at his place free of charge. Closer to home though, there are 10 victims in our country who were killed by army personnel or the police. When do we start protesting those murders? Anyway, I'd like to explain the difference between Xeno racism and what we know as xenophobia. So xenoracism is a form of racism that's not only directed at those with darker skins from the former colonial countries, but at the newer categories of the displaced and dispossessed whites. It is a racism that is meted out to impoverished strangers, even if they are white. So in places like the UK, as an example, if people, including white people that migrate from poorer Eastern European countries, they are then treated, when they get there, they are then treated in a hostile manner and are often targets of bullying and violence and attacks. This often includes the media who will portray them in a negative light. That's, in a nutshell, xenoracism. Xenophobia and racism often overlap, but they also differ because the latter is based on physical characteristics, while the former is based on the perception that the other is foreign to the community or nation or originated outside it. In South Africa, specifically, we've had dreadful, violent incidences of xenophobia, primarily directed at black people from African countries. They take our jobs and our women, we often hear. But not everyone that comes from countries such as Zimbabwe, Malawi, and so on. You know, those that are called Amakwere, which is what black foreigners are called in our country. Not every one of them do that. Yet, xenophobia in our country doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say things like, oh, okay, it's that person or this is the one responsible for the crime. I don't even think we should be calling it xenophobia. I think we should be calling it Afrophobia. Or at least I've heard quite a few people call it Afrophobia. Because we don't seem to target white people from the US or Europe, like in xenoracism. Now, I'm not saying we must target them. I'm saying we seem to give them a pass, even though by their accents we can hear that they're not from here. So why would that be acceptable to us, given our history of oppression based on the color of our skins? What we are in effect doing, is the case of one child who acts up in class, and the teacher, instead of punishing that child, then punishes the entire class. Of course there's crime and criminals from these countries, but there's also crime and criminals that's from South Africa too. Do we then burn down our entire neighborhoods because of a few rotten apples? Our focus needs to lie on holding government accountable for allowing these criminals in here. We need to march, we need to lobby against the easy entries across our borders, we need to lobby for heavier sentences, we need to also just get them out of the country, back to their own countries, when they do commit crime, when they are guilty of committing crimes. We cannot possibly keep oppressing people that have fled oppression. I get that this is an emotive subject, but it has to be dealt with, and we have to start learning the difference between foreigners and criminals, much like white people have to start learning the difference between black people and so-called swat gevaar or the criminals. If we don't, then quite simply, we have no right to fight against racism leveled at us. In light of all this happening in the world, let's remember that Black lives matter. Not because white lives don't matter, but because Black lives never have. So next week I'll be talking about whiteness as property. That'll be done in 2 sections. I just want to plead with everybody out there for more understanding, for getting to know people, for getting to know systems, to educate yourselves. So this type of things, we don't hear about the concourses or the George Floyds, that those things don't happen, that we're able to look at it and know it for what it is and fight it in that manner. Please, let's stay safe out there and have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.